From the News Channel 5 Network, this is OpenLine.
Hello everyone, welcome to OpenLine. I'm Ben Hall. Very good show tonight. Happy to have with us someone who can answer all of your questions about elder care. Elder law attorney Tim Takus is with us once again. Thank you, Tim, for being here.
Great to be back.
Always happy to have you here. Free advice on these very complicated issues.
Yes.
People call in with whatever question they may have, caring for a loved one. What are you seeing in your office right now?
Well, right now we're starting to get past like the Christmas rush, is what we call it. We've talked about this before, that that it tends to slow down in November and December, and then people come back in January and February and saying, oh my gosh, this is what I saw, and what are we going to do now about mom? And so now that we're getting into March and the weather is getting nice, and we're having people that are coming in and start talking about their estate planning. So like today, for instance, we had a lady that came in that late 70s, and bless her heart, her two of her children had died in the last 5 years, and and her husband has been passed away 20 years ago, and all she's got is one daughter left, and she's going, okay, now I've got to do some estate planning, and she's worried about now she having grandchildren and how to provide for them, because can you imagine burying your husband and then two children, and so that's the kind of thing now that we're seeing the people that are worried about the house going to the nursing home.
Right.
Yeah,
they're worried about caring for themselves,
right,
but at the same time having enough left over to pass on to the next generation and caring for those that have maybe cared for them.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting, we do this long enough, you see all sorts of things, and this lady comes in, and I know we talked about it in my office afterwards, is that no one could ever imagine that you would be 80 years old and two of your three children have predeceased you, that you expected to be able to have, you and your husband, who's been dead for a while, expected to provide for or have something, and now it's just the daughter and the grandchildren, and so she's going, I want to make sure that I have a plan in place. I want to make sure that I have money to take care of me, because that was a lot of the conversation that we had was, and we were talking about her estate planning. She was concerned about making sure that her grandchildren were provided for, because there were some special needs there that we wanted to plan for. And then she started saying as well, I've got a house in Hendersonville, maybe $140,000, $150,000 house. I've got another couple $100,000 in the bank. $1,800 a month income, and those are our clients.
Right.
And she's in pretty good health now, but she could see maybe in the future that she's not going to be, and she's going, okay, how do I protect what I have for my daughter and my grandchildren? And she's worried about the nursing home, and so I said, but at the same time, she doesn't want to give up control of her money and property.
Right, which you think is a good idea. So now, when you start talking about nursing home, what it costs, we've gone over this, but I'm always so blown away. Right. It's going to cost what?
Well, I think the national or that Tennessee average is $84,000 a year. That's $7,000 a month, and that's the base rate, I would say. That's if you basically want. It's basically sharing a room with somebody else, in a little nursing home, little nursing home room, and you're sharing it, this is your bed here, and your roommate is right over here, $7,000 a month.
Good grief! So if a single room is going to be more than that.
Exactly. So you figure a single room, if there even are any,
right,
would be what, $9,000 to $10,000 a month.
Jeez.
That sort of thing. So you're exactly
right. A person with the assets you described, which is above average in many ways, would blow through that money very quickly.
Right. So that lady was going, she's saying, okay, I've got $200,000 in the bank, I've got $1,500 a month coming in, so she's around $6,000 a month short. By the time you add in everything else, so $72,000 a year. So what she has, if she went into the nursing home today, then the $350,000 house and plus her cash would be gone in less than 5 years.
And she wants to give something to her kids,
right,
and not but she wants to have the care
and everything else.
so what are some of the things you talk about? You talk about trusts and what are some of the words you're using?
Exactly, and
what are some of the...
I know where you're headed. It's like, but first of all, Ben, as you're exactly right, is that our focus, and and as you know from hopefully all the viewers that have been watching us over the years know that we are focused on the life needs first of our older client. All right, what do you need to do to take care of yourself today? What can we expect for you in the near future? What can we expect for you in the long run? How are you going to make sure that you get the care that you need? Hopefully you'll be able to live at home for the rest of your life and be well taken care of. But hoping is not planning.
Right.
We have and we have 90-year-old clients who are doing well living at home, and we have 61-year-old clients who can't live at home anymore, because of the particular illnesses that they have, and it runs the gamut. And so those are the kind of people, those are the first things that we're fixing on is what can we do to make sure that you're taken care of.
Your client is the older
always
person.
The older person, right.
You want to make sure she's cared for. So
right.
That means sometimes $7,000 to $10,000 a month. Even if that person wants to leave something for their child, you're like, let's take care of you first.
Yes. And now bear in mind though is that we have to respect our clients' preferences.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do understand that people want to live a legacy if they can for their loved ones. But at the same time, and this is how we want to encourage our clients and our families to have conversations. Parents want to leave something to children. Children often, usually, at least the ones that are coming into our office, they want to make sure that mom is taken care of.
Right. That's the biggest load off their mind.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I know from, I'm sort of at the age now where I have an 85-year-old mother who is in good health. But, and fortunately I'm doing well enough that I don't really need anything. Not that I wouldn't like give it away if my mother passed away and left something for me and my brother and sister. But it's more important that for me and my brother and my sister, let my mother be taken care of. She has the resources to do it. She's living, in the same town as my sister, who's kind of keeping an eye on her, so she's active. And that's why we say is that we want our families to have those conversations about, the what if conversations, as we say. What if you can't live at home anymore, Mom? What would you like for yourself? What would you like for us to do? Do you want us to stop working and take care of you? Or do you want us to, or do you want to leave it up to us? What are your preferences? And those are the kind of questions and those are the kind of conversations that we want our families to have.
And and I'm going to start taking calls here, and we have a few. The other big concern people have is the nursing home taking their house.
Yes.
What is that concern? How does that come about?
And the fear that comes from that is that, it's just like you were saying, when we were talking about is that if the nursing home is $7,000 a month, then how is that going to get paid for? So if my loved one or if I have to go to the nursing home, are they going to take my house in payment for that? I mean, Ben, it's amazing. I have families that come into my office and say, well, when Daddy went to the nursing home and I went over there with Mama and they told us that we would have to give them their house, and I'm sort of gritting my teeth and I'm going, I don't think that's what the nursing home said, because they don't take anything. I often say is that going into a nursing home is like paying $200 a day or $225 a day, right?
Right.
And as long as you pay the $225 a day, you can stay there. And if you can't, the nursing home says, I'm sorry, we can't give away care for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're paying for what?
You're paying for, and you're paying usually nursing homes charge by the month. And so, people, if they can't afford to pay it, they either sell their house and pay for it, or at some point, they spend down to where they become eligible for the Medicaid program. Or they come into our office and then we help them put a plan in place for them.
Once they spin down and then it's Medicaid, is that when they could go back and get additional money sometimes, is that when they could go back?
I mean the state
or the
comes back
house
or
or
the
whatever.
recoup? Yes, exactly.
That's when you have that
because
situation.
the state. Now, having said that, and I don't know how many times I've said this, and you've heard me say this too, and I want to say this to everybody who is out there, is if you have a spouse who is in the nursing home, the state does not have a right to recoup.
They're not going to kick your spouse out.
Right. So if I'm in the nursing home, and Medicaid is paying my bill, then if I pass away or when I pass away, the state isn't going to come to my wife and say, Lynn, sell the house and repay us. There is no estate recovery if there is a spouse.
All right, that's important.
Right.
All right, so several calls here on the line. Dina, David, others, hold on the line. Come back, we'll just start taking calls. So we're going to take a break. If you want to call, there's the number 615-737-PLUS. It's probably right there, 615-737-7587. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.